Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Greetings. You are listening to Guiding Stars Evolutionary Astrology Radio. This is your host, Kristin Fontana, and I'm here with my co-host, Rose Marcus from Vancouver, Canada. Welcome.
Welcome, Kristin, and I hope that you are enjoying the holidays and that Christmas is wonderful with the family. I know everybody's getting together for you and so on, and that the new year brings nothing but joy and abundance your way. And the same for everybody else.
Yes, and everybody out there. Now, we are recording this on the solstice, so in some places you might hear this a bit early. But we are going to focus on the time frame at Christmas and after Christmas into the new year, into January, and really not beyond January, because there's so much happening in January. We can't begin to talk about the rest of the year when there's so much in January. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But I would love to just start with the fact that Venus in Scorpio is going to be trining Neptune in Pisces on Christmas. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, it's a very special pairing because Venus has to do with the material world. Rose and I were talking a little bit about the material world before we went live here, and just what holds meaning and value to all of us is Venus. And when it's in Scorpio, we tend to want to go deeper in our lives and our journeys. We want more intimate connections. We want a more profound experience. We really want to search further within our own souls and ourself and our relationships. And when it forms this beautiful trine to Neptune, it's such a vibration raising energy because Neptune is all about everlasting love. Who doesn't want that? It's about unconditional love. It's about anything that is timeless and eternal. And so when you link something earthly with something eternal, it creates in this context a bridge between two worlds. And it can happen through a sensation, through an embrace, through a prayer. And maybe you're just taking a walk in nature. It can happen in a moment. It's not about a thing. It's not about anything material. And we can all get swept up in the glitz and the lights and the presence or whatever it may be, but these two planets are reminding us all of the value of those things that are eternal. So it's a wonderful way to invite us into a new year. And the week you and I can talk about the 25th through the 31st and then starting the new year. So that's a wonderful watery entry point into this next forecast for everybody. And just to take it to another level of living is what is inviting us all to do within ourselves and within our relationships.
And beautifully said there, Kristin. And I think the thing is that prior to the holidays, there's an awful lot of pressure, right? Yeah. When you finally get to the arrival point, the day, right? A lot of the things that you put yourself under pressure for are meaningless, right? It just doesn't really matter at that point. You can let it go. And what is more essential is that, deeper connection, the deeper bond, just really settling into the energy of wherever you might be, whether that is sharing it with loved ones, or there are a lot of people alone today, during the holidays as well, too. Just allowing yourself to really be wherever you are. There's also a very lovely trine between the Sun and Jupiter to support that energy as well, too. Right? Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
Love that. And so it's Earth energy. We just talked about Venus and Scorpio trining Neptune, its higher octave in Pisces. And then that's a water energy. It's this emotional energy, so much depth, so much grace. And then to put the Sun in Capricorn trining Jupiter in Taurus, it's more grounding. It's practical. It's patient. And it's a planning energy. It allows you to even ground yourself, perhaps in things that you value differently as you move into the new year. Jupiter retrograde would inevitably would have had us all tuning into the things that we know will help us grow. And oftentimes that means going slower. Going slower. That's how we grow so often. I heard recently that symphonies were made within the noise and within the silence. The symphonies were made, it requires the noise and the silence. The noise that you make when you're trying to create a piece of music. Same with a painter, the canvas and the paints. You need them both. So you need to stop and receive. You need to be in silence to grow, to be open, to receive signs. That's a Jupiter thing, signs. And you need to be in action, and taking steps as well, taking risks. You need them both. So while we finish the end of 2023, Mercury is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, Uranus is still retrograde. Allow yourself to drop into those spaces so you can grow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The retrogrades, Jupiter retrogrades about tuning in. Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius is seeking from within. And so all of these retrograde planets are saying, urging us to be less concerned with the outer world trappings and to turn inward and to find the source within.
I love it. I love it. It sure does take the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Kristin, right the day after Christmas, we have a full moon in Cancer.
Yeah, we do.
Wow.
And that keeps the waters flowing. It keeps the emotion high and sensitive, but this full moon is trining Saturn in Pisces. So, we all want to feel what we need to feel safely, securely. So the way that I see this is this abundant emotion, but you having support or spaces where you can safely express how you're feeling. And there's nothing better than letting those waters move. I mean, a good cry with a friend or a good movie that brings you back and all of a sudden you're just weeping and didn't realize that you still had all those emotions in you from the past. I mean, there's so much nostalgia with the Capricorn energy, but it's just inviting you to feel more freely and to let it out, let it go and share it. You will feel supported with that transit. And again, whenever we have a full moon, it can generate that flow, that energy for 2 weeks until the next new moon. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it's really lovely because, and we've just said this, I'm just going to repeat it. That full moon is, the moon is trining Saturn across the water axis, and the sun is trining Jupiter across the earth axis. That's a really good combination here. And then, of course, we're just out of the Venus-Jupiter trine as well, too. Couldn't be lovelier, really, if you will allow yourself to stand still and pause for a moment and to soak it in, drink it in, and be exactly where you are. It just might be one of those moments when you get to just empty out, in a way of breath out.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. there's a place that we used to visit as a family on the coast, and there's certain times a year when the tide was really low and you could cross the sand into this other part of the town, and you could do it safely. There's like a little bridge of sand, and there's other times of the year when the tide is high. I don't know if I have that reversed or not, my Mercury retrograde, but anyway, way high. And you can't cross it. And sometimes, you really need to go that direction, or it'll take you another hour to get where you need to go. So I see this too, as you mentioned, the sea and the land, or the water and the earth, is a bridge. The sun and Jupiter are recreating a bridge. It's an insightful energy. It's intuitive. Something may come to you, an opportunity may show up that you hadn't seen before or intuited, and it can create a bridge for you into this next chapter.
Absolutely. And one other thing about that full moon too is that Chiron ends retrograde on that day as well too. And Chiron's in the sign of Aries. All the outer planets and Chiron planetoid do the retrograde tour every year for a few months, 4 or 5 months, right? So Chiron moving direct is the next phase of implementation in terms of the healing project that your soul has chosen for you, right?
Wow, that's really powerful, Rose. I mean, to have Chiron and Aries stationary on the full moon. Fortunately, it's not squaring the full moon. It is by sign, but not by aspect, as we say. So, but, so symbolic, because as we are finishing a new year, or I'm finishing a year and preparing for the new year, it feels symbolic as well, with significant planets about to move direct, Jupiter and Mercury following that. So I feel like it's a nice benchmark of energy.
Well, also too, Mercury retrograde and Mars are forming a trine to that Chiron, right? Mm-hmm. So a full moment for us, a full moment, right? See how it plays out in your life. Sometimes a Chiron transit, and especially when the outer planets switch, they're not like a Mercury retrograde that, all of a sudden, like, everything goes haywire. You can end up on a pause or something, but these switches can be more subtle. But with Mars and the Mercury retrograde in trine to that, the moment is a teaching moment.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like when everything's caught fire or inflamed in your life, and then you have a Mercury retrograde in Sag, Mars in Sag, trining that, you say, oh, there must be a reason for this, and this is the reason for it. I think you're right. It teaches you that, well, while it was uncomfortable, this was the teacher in my life that I needed, and this is the truth of why it had to happen. That's Sagittarius. So
absolutely.
We were also talking about the fact that Mars is transiting North Node, and Mercury trining the transiting North Node. So the North Node pulls us into our future, symbolizes our future and our destiny. And when you see Mars, the ruler of the North Node in Aries, trining it feels like an open door.
And it's exponential growth as well too. Yes. The divine moment that is setting up the orchestra to play.
Yeah. And with Mercury retrograde right there, I don't know. I kind of feel that it's a new piece of information, or let's just say, oh, I thought of something. It's like let's just say someone on interviews for a job, they don't get it. They pick someone else. The someone else doesn't work for the company, and then the company circles back with you and says, hey, under the Mercury retrograde, we're circling back because we're going in a different direction and we think you'd be perfect for it. So that could happen, right?
Right, exactly. That Mercury retrograde moving to a conjunction with Mars, both in the sign of Sagittarius, which happens on the 27th, that's motivating, right? It's energizing. It's giving you the impetus to get yourself going, and it's more dynamic in terms of the action and the implementation. And that all happens through that spontaneity, through that, hey, how about this? Hey,
exactly.
Yeah. And that also too, I mean, we've got just a few more days for the end of Jupiter retrograde and the end of Mercury retrograde, but this is just past the holidays. So we have reached the goalpost, it's like the big day has now come and gone, and we've all been looking to kind of land someplace. And as this Mars Mercury conjunction happens, that's starting to, put fuel in the tank for the next part of the journey. We might still not be, ready. We might be on vacation. Still got a few more days off. It's the end of the year. You not going to really get to too much before, the start of the year shows up. But the motivation or the thinking is now starting to look ahead, right? It's starting to look to what's next. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very visionary. It's expansive. And I love the Sagittarian energy from Mercury retrograde and Mars, because it gives you the optimism that you need that something's possible. With all this Capricorn, Mercury has been in retrograde in Capricorn, shifts back into Sagittarius. There's this palpable energy of going from something that feels more just, the reality might feel heavy under a Capricorn sky, and then you throw Sagittarian energy in it, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, and anything's possible. Anything becomes possible. It's an awesome thing. And so it is important to allow yourself to tap into those energies, because when we are above it, when we are really hopeful and high on something, or faith driven, and really tuning into a higher energy for that kind of guidance and support and belief, then it's true. More can happen for you. More can happen for anyone. So I love that shift right at the new year. It's just going to be, it's going to be a great transition point.
And it's kind of interesting, just after the full moon too, I see that Mercury retrograde in Mars is kind of a resurfacing. And if that comes on the heels of a nostalgic moon in Cancer, maybe you're thinking of like, oh, I remember, that person, and I haven't connected with them for a while. Maybe you want to pick up the telephone call.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe the phone rings and there they are, right? So you might have a premonition of something that shows up a couple of days later, however it shows up, right?
Absolutely. And within that window, I was just realizing, while there's so much forward moving traction, there's also this wistful, elusive energy with Mars squaring Neptune.
Right.
And so maybe all this old energies coming up that your soul's wanting to work through. Maybe you're feeling energized over here by something else, but there's an energy that keeps you in this place of either something's not ready yet, or something that you've wanted in the past feels like water moving through your hands. You haven't quite been able to grasp it. And so while I feel like that week between Christmas and New Year's is loaded with all kinds of energy that can help propel you into your future, you're also still feeling the past quite a bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good point with Mercury, and Mercury retrograde and Mars squaring Neptune. It is that elusive and something that comes to the surface that seeps up to the surface that perhaps you, had been feeling, sensing, but couldn't put your finger on it, right? Yeah. And we're getting towards the end of the week with the end of Jupiter retrograde and Mercury retrograde, and when planets are moving towards the end of their retrograde periods, they're slowing down in the orbit. So that, describes that still not quite. It's starting to brew, it's starting to gel, I'm starting to energize this, but I still feel that I'm not quite there yet, or not quite ready for launching, right?
Yeah, that is such a good point, because the energy really intensifies. It really intensifies. And even the pressure can increase then. And we can feel that like a full moon effect at the end of the year. I think too now, just this Mars square Neptune can also mean that there's something that you're intuitively feeling about your future, but it's hidden.
Right.
It can be like you're sitting in a theater and the curtains are still closed and you're anticipating the show that's about to start. You just know that there's something coming, but it's not quite clear. So trust your intuition, be patient with yourself, lean into the energies that feel naturally true. And, of course, at this time of the year, nothing is happening quickly, right? Not until we hit January. And so this is the first time in a while we've had these two big planets, Jupiter and Mercury, both turning direct in this way right before a new year.
Right. It's amazing. And just on the point of that, what's on brew or that feel about things, on the 8th of January, Mercury will square Neptune. So, again, the information will come in due course. And it might be this first week of January might be, again, still not quite up to until we get over that Mercury-Neptune square. Yeah.
The flip side of that, Rose, too, is that the Mars-Neptune square could also reveal something. On one hand, it could be hidden, and it can also be revealing. So I think you have to go with the flow, right?
It's what I always say about Neptune transits is that they're exposing. We don't see it, and then all of a sudden, boom, there it is, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Break time?
All right. We're going to move to a quick break, and we'll be right back with a little bit more on January 2024.
Find out about Kristin Fontana and get your free weekly astrological forecast on her website, KristinFontana.com. Read articles written by the founder of evolutionary astrology, Jeffrey Wolf Green. Evolutionary astrology is a spiritual perspective astrology from Pluto's point of view, and what a view it is. You can even order a detailed personalized chart that tells you about your past, present, and future. You'll also discover where and when Kristin's upcoming conferences, workshops, and appearances will be on KristinFontana.com. That's Kristin, Fontana.com.
Okay, you're stressed. You need a little R&R. Wouldn't going to a spa help? There's all kinds of spas, too. Destination spas, medical spas, day spas, even dental and mobile spas. Where do you find the right spa at the right price? Oh, no, more stress? Well, not anymore. Visit spafinders.com. At spafinders.com, you'll find everything you need to know about spas from around the world. So de-stress. Click on spafinders.com right on our homepage. I'm feeling relaxed already.
What would happen if you didn't follow the established path? Would you feel scared or proud? Could you explain that helping the people of Peru improve their own community would also have an effect on your own? Would you rather make your own way or spend a lifetime saying, what if? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps. To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or go to peacecorps.gov.
Water. In the hot summer sun, water is a natural thought, like relaxing at the beach with the waves lapping at your feet, or perhaps being with your significant other under a secluded, gently cascading waterfall. If you want a little more action, how about water skiing or boating on an icy, clear blue lake? With Expedia.com, everything you need for travel, flights, hotels, cruises, vacation packages, they have it all at a price you can afford. Go to HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Expedia.com.
I'm William Shatner, and this is Jimmy. Animals like Jimmy are often left behind by people fleeing hurricanes, fires, floods, and earthquakes. These abandoned animals cannot survive on their own. If you must evacuate your home, please never leave an animal behind. If you absolutely cannot take your animal with you, never leave him helplessly chained or caged. Many animals die because they cannot escape fires or rising waters. Animals need your help. Thank you.
Call PETA today, 757-622-PETA.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
Okay, Rose. So Jupiter stations direct December 30th in Taurus. What is it? 5 degrees, I believe. And Mercury is still retrograde until the evening of January 1st, 2024 in the West. It's the evening. But what do you think about those two?
Well, it's been quite amazing because first of all, they're a planetary pair,
Yeah.
I think you call them brothers, right?
Yeah.
Mercury, and Jupiter, so, they've been working as a team, and I said this in previous, recordings that we've done. Mercury took a retrograde, in Taurus in the spring, and Jupiter covered exactly the same degrees during its retrograde cycle from September to now, end of December. So that's been I've described 2023 many times as moving through molasses. We've been moving forward, but we've still been held up with all of this. Jupiter retrograde, as you said earlier, it's going slow. Taurus is going slow, right? So that's a lot of slowness.
Yeah.
And now Jupiter will be moving direct. So anything that's been pending that you haven't been able to really kick into gear, both of these transits are going to be facilitating that. And certainly Mercury in Sagittarius is about getting a move on, right?
Right.
Let's go. So I think that we'll get great benefit out of both of these planets turning direction. As I said, we do have to give it a few more days, this first week to get up and running. I think we always do that when we get back into it after the holidays. But I am certainly happy to be seeing the end of Jupiter retrograde. It has it's been slow, it's been thick, it's been laborious, it's been held up. And again, the retrogrades serve us very well. Jupiter retrograde is about getting back in touch with what is of highest value and meaning for you. What is most valuable? What is most worthwhile? And while you've been held back, I think the whole point is, is there still enough motivation? Is there still enough energy charge? Are you still enthused enough? Are you still in love with this enough to take it forward? Are you still getting something out of this to take it forward? If the answer is yes, then the stars will be facilitating. I mean, we're hitting the ground running in January, aren't we?
Yeah. What's even more fascinating to me is that Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So Jupiter rules Mercury in Sagittarius. And Mercury is the left brain, Jupiter's the right brain, and Mercury, which is the left brain, is in the sign that is ruled by the right brain, or the sign of the right brain. So I just see this as an interchange or an inter-exchange of information between your intuitive self and your analytical self. So the intuition is speaking volumes to the analytical self, and they're well paired up in this way as a result. They're both.
And there's one more element to that as well too. Venus on the 29th of December moves into Sagittarius, which is the ruling sign of Jupiter, and Venus is very important. Venus and Mars are very important because they are the rulers of the transiting nodes. So we have, yet more. That's what happens with astrology when you kind of get that confirmation. Everything is kind of saying the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so happy you brought that up, because not only does Venus rule Jupiter in Taurus, Venus is in Sag, which is ruled by that Jupiter. So there's this constant support back and forth, but also Venus and Mars rule these nodes, right? So everything is pointing to move to the future. And because there's so much Jupiterian, Sagittarian energy, it is more hopeful. It is more optimistic. However, Venus moves into a square to Saturn right at the new year also, the day that Mercury stations direct. So I think that's just about, you're ready to roll, but it's New Year's Day and nothing's open. And, I don't know, you need to wait on somebody. Maybe they're not back from vacation till a week later. So you're still in that period, right? Where the wheels are still needing to get moving. So there still could be a little grace period on the way in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, take your time, right? And whatever fuel you don't have in the tank, you're going to get soon enough. So if you don't quite know how to put left foot in front of right foot, trust us, you will figure it out as you go along, as this month advances. So there's lots and lots of support. As of January 4th, Mars moves into Capricorn, right? And Mars in Capricorn is one of its best placements for accomplishment and for getting ambitious and for rolling up your sleeves, doing the work and getting the result, right? So I'm quite enamored, I like my fire, but I also like my earth, right? Your earth is good for accomplishing, isn't it?
Absolutely. You want Mars in Capricorn in January. It's a very productive place for Mars. And we don't really talk a lot about when Mars is in its detriment or its
exaltation. It's in exaltation.
Mars in Capricorn is considered to be in its exaltation because it can harness that energy that you have and allow it to be really productive as long as you're disciplined and you put the time in and you're dedicated and, you've got some structure to your days. It's going to be very beneficial if you do that right out of the gates.
Yeah, and it's just allowing as well too this Mars in Capricorn that goes on to the middle of February to get it under better control. So whatever it is that has been beyond you or jammed up, whatever it is that has been out of reach or so on, Mars in Capricorn makes it real, gives you something of substance to work with, gives you some ability to be productive and to take that and mold it and shape it into something useful.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about Sag, the visionary, and then you move into the sign of Capricorn, you go from something that you envision to something, I love the word you use, substance. It's something tangible, something moldable, something real, something that you can count on. Right. Measurable. It's measurable. It's just not some desire that you have that you're chasing. It's something you can really say, yeah, look at this can happen and I'm going to work toward that. I also feel too that it's important to have goals, to write down your goals, to write down your wishes, to make a plan, because taking it from your thoughts or dreams and, really committing it to paper, talking about it, it does something in the subconscious. It gets the ball rolling. And then when you put Mars in Capricorn, you just instinctually want to spend time doing it because now you feel responsible for accomplishing that because you wrote it down. You want to, you're feeling held to do that, even if you're somebody that's not, you're second guessing yourself perhaps, but it's important to really just follow through with a dedicated pursuit time-wise and weaving it into your day, committing an hour here or there if there's something that you have a goal that you're targeting in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mars puts you in the mood to do exactly that. Sagittarius just likes to, have it all just happen. Mars actually in Capricorn enjoys the working it, right? Yeah. So I think we have to go to a break.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Find out about Kristin Fontana and get your free weekly astrological forecast on her website, KristinFontana.com. Read articles written by the founder of evolutionary astrology, Jeffrey Wolf Green. Evolutionary astrology is a spiritual perspective astrology from Pluto's point of view, and what a view it is. You can even order a detailed, personalized chart that tells you about your past, present, and future. You'll also discover where and when Kristin's upcoming conferences, workshops, and appearances will be on KristinFontana.com. That's KRISTIN Fontana.com.
Have you ever wondered why you are here on this planet and what the point to all of this is? Evolutionary astrology is a natural science that allows for an understanding of the evolutionary journey of the soul from life to life. Evolutionary astrology provides a vehicle to understand prior life dynamics that have led to the reason and purpose for the life you live. It offers a depth of information and insights about each person that no other type of astrology can provide. As Jeffrey Wolf Green, the founder of evolutionary astrology, says,
for those who wish to unveil the depth of who you actually are, I would highly recommend that you seek out qualified evolutionary astrologers such as Kristin Fontana and other graduated students of the School of Evolutionary Astrology. For those who are considering becoming an astrologer to make it a natural career, I'd recommend that you consider Jeffrey Wolf Green's School of Evolutionary Astrology, where it will assist you in answering and your clients answering a big question. Why am I here? Thanks for listening, and God bless.
Okay, you're stressed. You need a little R&R. Wouldn't going to a spa help? There's all kinds of spas, too. Destination spas, medical spas, day spas, even dental and mobile spas. Where do you find the right spa at the right price? Oh, no, more stress? Well, not anymore. Visit spafinders.com. At spafinders.com, you'll find everything you need to know about spas from around the world. So de-stress. Click on spafinders.com right on our homepage. Ah, I'm feeling relaxed already.
Whether you're taking a short trip or traveling across the world, Magellans.com is the world's most trusted source for travel, and they guarantee 100% satisfaction. They have everything you need to make travel just a bit more pleasurable. Who doesn't like that? They have travel alarms, clothing, the best luggage, wallets, everything you need except the ticket. Visit the advertiser page on healthylife.net and click on Magellans now. You will not only see their travel products, but get a free catalog and read articles with tips on how to make your travel easier. Visit the advertiser page and click on Magellans now.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
All right, so we are discussing transits for January 2024. There's so much happening, big things happening later in the month. But before we get there, Rose, you were just talking about Mars entering Capricorn. That's going to feel like a significant energy shift. Mercury will still be in Sagittarius until what, the 13th? Is that right?
13th, yes. Yeah.
And then it moves direct into Capricorn again, re-entering Capricorn. And we have also a new moon in Capricorn a few days before that on the 11th of January. So new moon in Capricorn, which is interesting because the new moon is going to be squaring the nodes.
Yes.
But, you know me, here we go again, Kristin. I'm always trying to find a channel for some of this high pressure energy. And that same new moon, the sun and the moon form a beautiful trine, an electric trine to Uranus and Taurus. So it says, wherever you've been fence sitting, wherever you feel like you've been getting stuck, wherever you feel like, gosh, I've been here before, Uranus is going to show you another way in through the side door, some kind of breakthrough energy that can change everything.
Yes, I think that this is a great new moon because I see it as pivotal, squaring the nodes, and it's in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is a solidification archetype, right? A crystallization archetype. It's about how you're judging your reality and so on. The transing nodes are Libra and Aries, so again, we have how we're evaluating in terms of how we're relating to things and then evaluating in terms of what our essential needs are, both kind of ends of the spectrum. And I just really feel that this new moon is pivotal. It's like it's seeding, really. We're just at this kind of apex here. And it really is, it can show you with that lovely trine to Uranus the avenue or the way forward. It can just point to it. The transits, Venus is on its way to trining the North Node, and Mercury is past the square to Neptune, which is revealing and exposing. And we have asteroid Ceres in a lovely trine to the North Node. That's the most exact out of those Sagittarian planets that we have. So this is really, I think, it's pivotal. That's the word I want to use for this. We have arrived here at some kind of right time, ripe moment. And that's a Capricorn archetype time, right?
Yeah.
I'm ready now. I wasn't ready before. I needed a little bit more push, or I needed a little bit more information, or I needed a little bit more working it out. And now I'm here, and that Uranus piece is giving me some new way of piecing it together, or some new download here that is going to, now it's a seeding for what comes next.
You know what I just discovered for the first time? I'm big on all these R words like redo, renew, replenish, restore, reinvent, during the retrogrades. By this point in time, we only have one retrograde planet left in January, and it's Uranus. And it's part of this exceptional trine to the new moon in Capricorn. And the word ready starts with R-E. How did I not ever think about that? When the train comes by, I'm going to be ready this time, And yes, the retrogrades help us get ready. But with Uranus, you better be ready, because Uranus it could produce an unexpected opportunity. You want to be ready when the time comes to make that move, to make that change. And it's like some unexpected opportunity that lands in your lap, and you only have a little window to say yes. Be ready to say yes, and be ready to transform your life if it's been feeling more that something's run its course. It's a time where you want to be ready, so get ready. R-E, Rose.
I have a song going through my head right now.
You won't feel retrograde any longer, I will say that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic new moon, and what follows afterwards, Mars is trining Jupiter, I meant to say. Mars in Capricorn on the 12th. We have a Mars-Jupiter trine. And on the new moon, actually, I see Venus and Chiron in trine as well, too. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
That's a nice pocket there.
Fantastic, right?
What does that mean? Let's tell them what that means. So Mars trining Jupiter, Mars is driving what you want, and it's this magnetism, this energy of magnetism when you're confident and courageous and feeling brave. When you're in that place, I mean, you may feel more courageous under Mars trining Jupiter, right? Like something is giving you a reason to feel brave. It's giving you a reason to launch something new. You have a lot of faith in what you're feeling. Something inside me tells me this is going to fly. So
yeah, and this is going to fly, and the timing of it is perfect.
Yes.
Right? So that's the Mars Jupiter in the earth signs there, is the timing of that, how you synchronized with the impetus, the vision, the download, whatever you've had, and the action and the moment.
Right, exactly. I love that. All right, so just after that, the 13th, as we mentioned, Mercury will re-enter Capricorn again. All this earth energy is really quite helpful at this time because we are wanting to solidify things. We're wanting to feel secure in our direction of our life. And just when all this Capricorn's business is happening, Pluto's preparing to enter Aquarius. Did I miss anything from the 13th to the 20th?
No, I don't think you did. The day before, let's just go for the day before, Mercury is trine Jupiter, which is a lovely aspect. And then we come up to the 20th. I think that we should be going to another break before we get into this really big date.
Big date. There's a few big dates. The biggest date is the 20th.
The 20th.
And yeah, we'll share more about that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying about the 20th is kind of like the really official first day of the new year. So if you haven't celebrated on January 1st, you can celebrate on the 20th. We'll be right back.
Find out about Kristin Fontana and get your free weekly astrological forecast on her website, KristinFontana.com. Read articles written by the founder of evolutionary astrology, Jeffrey Wolf Green. Evolutionary astrology is a spiritual perspective astrology from Pluto's point of view, and what a view it is. You can even order a detailed personalized chart that tells you about your past, present, and future. You'll also discover where and when Kristin's upcoming conferences, workshops, and appearances will be on KristinFontana.com. That's KRISTIN Fontana.com.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder, so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
Take one step towards spirit. Spirit will take 1,000 steps toward you. Come explore the world of evolutionary astrology with Rose Marcus. Rose Marcus is well known for her heartfelt passion, sensitive counseling skills, and dedication to helping others. You can now study evolutionary astrology from the comfort of your own home through live teleconference classes with Rose. To register for the next Evolutionary Astrology School, to read your in-depth monthly horoscope, or to book a private astrology with Rose Marcus, please visit her website, www.rosemarcus.com.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
In college, I took a lot of history and liberal arts classes, and frankly, I don't remember much of any of it. But as an adult, I find myself engrossed in fascinating programs on the A&E and History Channel. They've pretty much helped me to be pretty impressive at social functions, and I just found out today that I can purchase DVDs of my favorite A&E and History Channel programs right through HealthyLife.net. You should visit HealthyLife.net and order your favorite A&E and History Channel program DVDs as well, and then discover how many people you can impress during your next social occasion.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
All right, so we have 3 days of some really seamless, supportive energies with Jupiter, involving Jupiter and trining Mars. We've got Jupiter trining Mercury. We have also within that, Jupiter is sextiling Saturn. This is the 10th, 11th, 12th window. So there's one other transit I wanted to slide in there, because Jupiter sextiling Saturn lets you know that this promising thing that you're sensing can happen. There's something that you are energizing that by that date you will know it can happen. It's a results-driven energy. You're being shown results to something. And so I just wanted to slide that one in. Let's talk about the 20th, though.
Yeah, and so it's really interesting. Pluto and the Sun come together at, get this, 2959 Capricorn. So they are conjunct. 2959, there's 60 minutes in an hour. 2959 is 1 second off the sign of Aquarius, right? So what a culminating, what you just said, right? That is a culminating degree. And we didn't say this before, but so Mars moved into Capricorn on the 4th, and Mercury moves into Capricorn on the 13th, and it is still, it's out of shadow about the 16th, because it was in Capricorn before it turned retrograde, or at the time of retrograde in December. So it's completing that. And then at the end of the month, Venus was the, I've forgotten now here, the 27th or something, when Venus moves into Capricorn as well too. Venus and Mars are the ruler of the nodes, and Venus, Mars, and Mercury are what we call the personal planets, right? So all those planets moving into Capricorn are finishing up with Pluto. They're all in that what we call a balsamic relationship, all the inner planets, personal planets. And when we're at that phase, there are two things that are happening: culminating, completing, and seeding for next, right? So very, very potent in the position of all three of those planets in relationship to Pluto, in relationship to the sun as well, too. So
wow,
we've got such a dynamic. And let me see if I can get that. Just because I love to know these things. So Sun and Pluto, and this is Pacific time at 5:45 in the morning. And then we have the sun moving into Aquarius at 6:07. So just, 20 minutes later. And then we have Pluto at 4:50 in the afternoon. So we have, first the sun and then Pluto moves into Aquarius. So I just think that is kind of dynamic. It's like it can be a jolt. It could be a jolt with the Mercury Jupiter the day before. I just think that this is breakthrough, ground running. It's it's the.
Oh my gosh! Check this out. I mean, I've been staring at the same thing, Rose. I just get real Virgo about these degrees. But like at 5:50 in the morning, so the sun moves in front of Pluto.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit like, even though when we're looking at planetary pairs, we put the sun as stationary. But when it moves in front through transit, it feels like a spotlight on the path ahead of you, right? Like a jolt. It's like you've been moving through the dark and all of a sudden the light comes on, right? And at that time, it's like 5:50 to 6 a.m. In the West. The moon is at 29 Taurus in 50 something minutes. So it's like the Pluto and the sun are trining the moon right at this transition. So this is your emotional body, how you are living within yourself during this transition. Then the moon moves into Gemini, right? When the sun moves into Aquarius, and they are trining each other. So there's tremendous emotional support at that time, I feel. Earlier in the morning, the moon will be sextiling Neptune. And so that is understanding the bigger picture of the change, or what needs to happen globally, what needs to happen for the benefit of all of humankind. But on a personal level, it's like, what needs to change within me to facilitate a healing? What parts and pieces of me, my past, my history, old dynamics, can I release, can I liberate from, so I can feel more free in myself? And that is just a powerful time. Right?
Well said. Yeah, well said. I just, I feel it like, finding a new plug to plug in, right? Like you're getting juiced up all again, right? Aquarius is the great awakener, right? So this is, and Aquarius is electrifying, right? So it's like coming back up to life, coming back to life,
Right.
And what a brilliant. It will be interesting to see, Pluto was in Aquarius in 2023 for 80 days. And it was pretty subtle because it only went to 0.5 and then it retrograded back again, and I think a lot of people might not have felt that all that dynamically. A lot of my clients would imagine that you felt the same way too. I saw acceleration. Aquarius is an archetype of acceleration. And I saw things with my clients that they were saying, this isn't coming together, Whoosh, all of a sudden it was, right? So for that period of time. But it will be interesting to see what happens on the world stage at this time too, because Uranus rules atmospheric conditions, geophysical, political, social, and so forth. So we might see some newsworthy things going on around that time as well, too.
Yeah, right. Earth events as well. I mean, amazing what's going on in Iceland right now with this volcano.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. And this is all unexpected. We can't predict things like this on that kind of scale. So there's a lot of the unknown for sure on the way next year. A lot of surprises. like you said, political things, earth events, but also really on a personal level. It's a time to really slip out of your old skin, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the way I like to look at it.
Yeah. And you may be able to jump over something, right? You know?
I like that, even better.
Yeah. That may indeed happen. As the moon moves into Gemini, it will square Saturn, so we have to get past that as well too. And again, that's another revelation point, right? Just a little pop. It can come and go without you noticing it, but suffice to say that that's pretty darn tootin' dynamic, I think. And then,
so go ahead.
You and I will be back on the 25th, and we're getting near the end. I think we are just about at the end of the show here. And the 25th is a full moon, right? And we have the end of January. On the 26th, Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius, which Pluto just goes into, stations direct, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's adding to it. Finishing off the month, the 27th, we have Mercury and Mars conjunct again. They were conjunct on December 27, and they complete on January 27. And then we've got, the last few, the 28th and 29th, we've got some really Venus-Jupiter trine on the 28th, and Mars and Uranus trine on the 29th. So finishing off the month on an acceleration, hit the ground running.
Yeah, Mercury is also trining Uranus. So when Mars and Mercury conjunct in Capricorn, together they will trine Uranus. That is a spring-loaded, action-packed way to finish January. We will be back, though, it'll probably go live the 26th, so you'll be hearing more from us. But Uranus rules Pluto in Aquarius, and so to have it station direct is, at that time, is another accelerant.
And, at the time of a full moon as well, too. That's pretty darn tootin' dynamic. And just quickly on that full moon, the sun and moon are square Jupiter, right? So that's going to be enlarging the scope of whatever it is. So we caution you not to overextend yourself, but to take a worthwhile risk.
There you go. I like it. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And I think you will be rewarded for that.
Very good.
All right, Rose. Well, listen, anyone who's listening to this around Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and for all of you, a happy new year. And hopefully some of these insights will lead you well into 2024. And Rose and I look forward to gathering with you again in January and to continue to shine a light on in the best ways that we can to support your evolutionary journey. So it's a gift to have you in my life, Rose. It's a gift to have you all here with us to really share in our love for evolutionary astrology. So sending you all the highest vibration of love as you transition into the new year.
Love to you, Kristin, and best wishes to everyone there. We're here to support you as best we can.
Yes. All right. Until next time, namaste.